Sama Bajau. Have you ever heard about this ethno-linguistic community? Let's explore more about them. The Sama Bajau are coastal people. Most of them are sea-oriented, boat-dwelling, and nomadic people. Some of them are boat-dwellers in coral reefs. They are known for being a seafaring people and are warlike in nature. What's more, the Sama Bajau has been known to be skilled seamen, boat builders, artisans, pilots, fishermen, and inter-island traders. Geographically, the Bajau occupy several regions in Southeast Asia and becomes the indigenous people in three countries: the Philippines, Indonesia, and Malaysia. In Malaysia, the Bajau mostly reside in Sabah. In this state, there are two major settlements of the Bajau community, namely the district of Kota Belud, located on the west coast, as well as the district of Semporna, located on the east coast. Apart from Kota Belud, the Bajau in the west coast can be found starting from the Kudat Peninsula, Tuaran, Kota Kinabalu, Sepanggar, Putatan to Papar. In the east coast, beside the town and the mainland of Semporna, the Bajau people also live in the islands, such as Omadal Island, Danawan Island, Siamil Island, Bambam Island, and others. Generally, because of their close association with the sea, they are given the appellation of sea gypsies or water gypsies. We still can see the Sama Bajau tradition of living in houses built in water with high stilts to support their lives unto this day.
Moving on, so now let's talk about what is actually a Sama Bajau language. Speaking about the Bajau are actually a culturally and linguistically diverse people living in the southern Philippines, eastern Indonesia, and Sabah, Malaysia. They speak Malayo-Polynesian language that is called Sama, which is spoken in the Philippines and Malaysia. As in Sabah, the language is divided into a number of divergent. The division separates the language spoken by the Bajau of the West Coast from the East Coast. Focusing on the West Coast, it is the product of years of local isolation in Sabah, while for East Coast, it is formed by immigrants coming to Sabah. Even the name of the dialect in the East Coast, for example Sama Ubian, is named after the Philippine island. So, that's the difference on how Bajau language is formed in West Coast and East Coast. Let's take a look on the details of the language in the West Coast Sama. First, it is spoken from Papa to Kudat, Sabah. They refer to themselves and their language as Sama. However, the fact that their language is not quite different from that spoken on the East Coast or in the southern Philippines indicates that they have been in Sabah for a much longer time. Moving on to the East Coast. As I mentioned earlier, it is much more sharply into dialects, and most of them are named after the Philippine Islands. What we have to know is the language spoken in the East Coast areas of Sabah are very closely related to the Southern Samal dialects of the Sama language group of the Southern Philippines. Well, if Southern and Central Sama is frequently classed together as East Coast Bajau, it is different case for West Coast Bajau. A separate language known as West Coast Bajau is spoken in the northern and western coastal districts from Kuala Penyu to Teruseng. And that's how Bajau language is formed in Malaysia. How about other countries? Let's take a look on Bajau language in Indonesia. In eastern Indonesia, the Bajau speak what appears to be a single language, and it is characterized by only minor dialectal differences, known as Indonesian Bajau.
Now,
we're going to discover the religion, belief, and festival of Bajau people. What is the practice religion of Bajau people? The Bajau Laut are originally a Sea Gypsies practice an ancestral worship or belief in spirits. Meanwhile, Sama Bajau are Muslim. Ritual. The Bajau of Semporna perform various traditional healing ritual and scheduled rituals. The ritual manifestations mainly performed by the older generations of the community due to make-believe practices harmonizing and balancing the living in the physical world and the spiritual world. Meanwhile, among the younger generations of Bajau, continue to practice the ancestral traditions as a heritage by learning the traditional dance and music as a cultural activity and perform at the event in the community such as wedding, culture, and arts programs. Failure to hold a ritual belief will contribute to the imbalance of spiritual energies in the household of the family. Regatta Lepa Festival. Regatta Lepa Water Festival showcases the customs and traditions of Bajau Semporna people, or known as Sea Gypsies. In 2003, the Regatta Lepa was declared a national festival and become an attraction to locals, foreigners, even VIPs in the state. And this festival held annually around mid to end of April. Lasts 2 to 3 days. The festival starts in the morning with marine activities and extends into the night. What are the highlights of Regatta Lepa Festival? Here it is. First, the floating parade of Lepa boats that represents a different family and village in Semporna. And this is one of the competitions held on the first day of the festival. And at night, the festival continues with eagle-eagle performance, cultural music, beauty contests, and fireworks display.
The Bajau language. Sinama. Numbers.
Dakayu. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Siam, 10.
Greetings and phrases. Ahap subu. Ahap kohap. Ahap sangum. Ahap Tuhan. Say unno. Unkosi. Magsukol. Palaan na ako.
Overall, we have introduced to you about the background of Bajau people in terms of their location, tradition, ritual, and specifically in their language, namely as Sama Bajau language. So, how do you think? Don't you think they have such a unique language to communicate? Yes, exactly. However, there is recent research in 2020 about shifting the dimensionality of language, evidence from bilingual Bajau Sama Katabalut in Malaysia. The researchers found that the Bajau Sama language spoken as the mother tongue has declined among the young generation as they tend to use the Malay language in their daily lives, such as in the family and neighborhood domains. Thus, it indicates a change in the Bajau Sama language vitality in Kota Belud. In more specifically, the language is no longer the first language among the generation 20s and 30s. In such a situation, the mother tongue's transmission as the first language is at an endangered level. So, we are totally agreed with the researchers' suggestion, which is, as an attempt to change the direction of language shift, the Bajau Sama language curriculum must be introduced in the primary school's education system to sustain its vitality. So, that's all from our group. I hope you enjoy and gain knowledge from this video. Thank you!